Hey guys, so 2024 is about to wrap up, and as I've done the past few years, I wanted to make a video going over some of the characters that I think we could potentially see in 2025. So what I'll do is I'll just quickly put up the list that I made going into 2024. I think I actually was able to nail a lot of the characters. Obviously things like Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta and stuff like that were really obvious. Super Saiyan 2 Gohan, some of the GT villains we got out of the way there. But there are definitely some characters that are left over from the list, and then also a lot of new characters I'm going to add on to the list this year that seem pretty obvious to me. But this is on the screen right now, the list that I made last year. You can go through that and look and check off some of the characters that we got. But let's jump into this year's list. I'm going to do 10 characters again, and I'll actually probably end up doing an honorable mentions slot as well. I'll probably talk about those characters in between number 2 and number 1. But of course, we'll start with number 10 on the list of characters I think we could potentially see released in 2025. All right, so number 10 on the list is going to be Fusion Zamasu. I think they could do either an Ultra or an LF of this character at this point. I think probably an Ultra fits a little bit more than an LF does now. I mean, we have a corrupted version that's an LF, but that's really the only one we have. I mean, this guy released in the 2nd anniversary, and then we got the corrupted version in the 3rd anniversary, and then we got a Zenkai in the 6th anniversary, and that's it. So this guy, Fusion Zamasu, definitely has a lot lower representation, a lot less representation in the game than I think most people would have thought he would have by 6.5 years in. So I think that we are definitely due for a new version of Fusion Zamasu. Again, whether or not they want to make it an Ultra or LF, I don't think it really matters. I think potentially we could also see a transforming version of the character. So he starts out as just this normal version, and then he transforms into the corrupted version. That could be a pretty cool LF they could do as well. Similar to like Transforming Rose or Vegito Blue that we got during Legends Fest this year. He starts out as this character, transforms, and then he's just the corrupted version of himself. That could be a cool thing they could do, but I think most people are expecting this guy to be an Ultra. I think potentially him just being like the end of January or end of February or whatever they want to do for the Ultra slots. I'm not sure what they're going to do in 2025, but just like a monthly Ultra, I don't think he'll end up being like Anniversary Ultra or Legends Fest Ultra. He's probably not that at that level yet, but I could definitely see a Fusion Zamasu release, probably an Ultra in 2025. He's going to be number 10. Let's move on to number 9. All right, coming in at number 9, I'm just going to combine these two characters into the same slot, just Cooler as a slot on the list. We're going to have LF/Ultra Final Form or Metal Cooler. The reason why I did a slash for this one is because if it's Final Form Cooler, I think they're obviously going to do, I guess they could do a transferring version, but I would definitely expect it to be an Ultra at this point. A monthly Ultra Final Form Cooler would be really, really nice to see, I think. And then for Metal Cooler, probably for him it would be an LF. I mean, this was really the last summonable new Metal Cooler we got was this green one, who is very, very old now. So yeah, I think either an Ultra Final Form Cooler or a LF version of Metal Cooler is certainly in the works for this year. Cooler is a very popular character. Dokkan did an entire... basically the equivalent of their Legends Fest. Dokkan, like the equivalent of the Dokkan version of Legends Fest. They did the entire thing around both the Cooler movies. So Cooler is like a pretty big character, actually. And the fact that we haven't really seen any Metal Cooler come out in years, and the fact that Ultra or LF Final Form Cooler is now what, like basically almost a year and a half old, means I think we probably are within range in 2025 to see an Ultra of him come out, if not just an LF of Metal Cooler as well. So I'm hoping we look at some more villain releases this year. We definitely have some villains coming up on this list as well as we go higher up. So I think some kind of Cooler character coming out in this year is pretty reasonable and plausible. So this is going to be number 9. Let's move on to number 8. All right, number 8 is going to be LF/Ultra Final Form or Full Power Frieza. It has been quite a while since we've gotten a Namek Frieza, which to me is ridiculous. This is the most iconic villain in Dragon Ball, hands down. And it's been a while. since we got a Namek version of the character. Now, the reason why this guy's not higher on the list is just because we did get an Ultra Golden Frieza this year. Granted, he was earlier in the year. He came out at the end of March, so it's been 9 months since he's released. And he's not... I almost want to say Dragon Ball Super Frieza is almost like a different character than Dragon Ball Z Frieza. And the fact that we don't have just like a modern LF or Ultra of Namek Frieza is insane to me. I'm thinking probably what they would do, looking at all the different possibilities for this guy, is they probably would do an LF of this character, but it would probably be a transforming Final Form into Full Power Frieza as an LF character. That's probably what they would do. And that's actually probably what I would want the most. Obviously, I would take anything. I think an Ultra Full Power Frieza would be crazy cool. But the reason why I would probably even want a transforming Final Form into Full Power Frieza even more than the Ultra is just because that's like a criminally underrepresented sequence in Dragon Ball games, period. Like, Dokkan doesn't even have a transforming Final Form Frieza into Full Power Frieza. Very few games have that animation done very well. Even like Sparking Zero, I would say the transformation sequence of Final Form Frieza into Full Power Frieza isn't like it doesn't really do the sequence justice. Like, you can definitely see, like, in the anime, if you watch the transformation, it is a very slow and, you know, arduous process of him essentially bulking all the way up to full power. But I feel like, you know, Legends, at least they can give us some different camera angles. It's not going to be a super long drawn out animation, but it would look really cool, I think. And they could definitely do a lot with this character. So I'm going to put this guy at number 8. Let's move on to number 7. All right, this is going to be one of the safer slots on this list. And we had the Synchro Gauge mechanic introduced during the 6th anniversary. We got fusing Super Vegito and fusing Blue Gogeta. I think it is only a matter of time before we get a Synchro Gauge for Super Gogeta. The last Super Gogeta character we got was last year at the... it was the pre-Legends Fest LF slot where we got the reviving Pikkon into Super Gogeta. But I definitely think at some point within 2025, now that we have the Synchro Gauge out, I think it's very likely that we end up getting a Synchro Gauge Super Gogeta character. I didn't put Vegito Blue on here. I mean, at some point we are going to get a Synchro Gauge Vegito Blue as well. But we just got a Vegito Blue, so I don't know if they're going to go back to him super quickly. But I think for Super Gogeta, for sure, it's probably going to happen. They love fusions. They love big ticket characters. And this is just very, very obvious in terms of what I think they would... or something I think they would do. So, Synchro Gauge, Super Gogeta... I mean, if it doesn't happen in 2025, it's 100% happening in 2026. But, I mean, we got 12 months. I think... you know, this guy probably could see a release. To me, this almost feels like a part 2 for Anniversary type of character. They drop a Synchro Gauge Super Gogeta for part 2 alongside, I don't know, maybe something from Daima or something. But yeah, this guy could be pretty interesting. And Super Gogeta is always a character that sells extremely well. So I think very, very highly likely this guy. Number 7 on the list. Let's move on to number 6. You guys thought I wasn't going to put Old Reliable on the list this year, huh? You thought I was just going to forget my good friend Demon King Piccolo? This guy's never being taken off these lists until he finally gets added. Ultra Demon King Piccolo is going to be number 6 on here. I believe he's been on the past few lists. I don't think I've had him too high up, but, you know, every year where he doesn't get added, we're just going to be moving him higher up. So I think this is the year. I think 2025 is the year that we get Ultra Demon King Piccolo. I think we could get another month of like a Dragon Ball celebration. They could give us a Dragon Ball LF on the 15th of the month or the middle of the month, whatever it ends up being the day. And then the end of the month, we could get an Ultra Demon King Piccolo. I definitely think that this character is deserving of that. This is the ultimate boss of OG Dragon Ball. And, I mean, we kind of have some sort of connection with Daima from this character. His whole concept of being a demon now does actually make sense with the ideas and concepts from Daima that we understand to have shaped, I guess, sort of like the Namekian culture. So him being a demon actually does make a lot of sense now. And I think they could even tie this in to a lot of the Daima stuff that we get potentially. Maybe they want to, I don't know, make him work well with Daima characters or something. I'm not sure, but Ultra Demon King Piccolo, I really do think this is the year. Maybe it's just me being over ambitious, but this is a major villain character, and we haven't seen a new version of this guy released since the purple transforming one, which you're seeing on the screen right now. I'm hoping that this is finally the year where we get a big ticket release for this character. So Ultra Demon King Piccolo is going to be number 6. Let's move on to number 5. This is one of those characters where it's like, I actually can't believe that we've gotten this far without another version of this guy coming out. So LF Dragon Ball Super Broly, aka Full Power Super Saiyan Broly. This is the last major release of this character, is all the way back in 2020, 4 years ago. The last major Dragon Ball Super Broly we've had was 4 years ago. 4 years ago, with the first ever Gogeta Blue, who's still not Zenkai'd. And since this character is released, we've gotten 2 major Gogeta Blues. We've gotten the Ultra Gogeta Blue in 2022, and then this year in the 6th anniversary, we got Fusing Gogeta Blue. So we have to be getting a new Dragon Ball Super Broly this year at some point. And then what better way to set up a Zenkai for Gogeta Blue than by releasing him next to a new either LF or Ultra Dragon Ball Super Broly. I mean, bruh. If I'm sure of any spot on this list, well, besides the top 2, I'm like 100% sure it's happening. But this actually probably is like right there with them. I'm putting him at number 5 because I'm really also confident in the other 4 slots above this character, but this is almost got to be happening at some point this year. Either like a transforming Super Saiyan Broly into full power as an LF, or just an Ultra of this character, because that would definitely be warranted. An Ultra full power Super Saiyan Broly from DBS Broly, and then you just Zenkai Gogeta Blue. That would be a crazy release pairing up. So yeah, so just a new Dragon Ball Super Broly as an LF or an Ultra. Number 5 on the list. Let's move on to number 4. Okay, so coming in at number 4 is going to be Ultra Super Saiyan 4 Goku. I guess maybe they could potentially do this guy as an LF. Like, they could do a revival. What if it's like a Super Saiyan 3 GT Goku who revives into Super Saiyan 4 Goku? That could be cool, right? He starts Super Saiyan 3, he dies, and then his revival animation is him going through like Golden Great Ape and then going into Super Saiyan 4. They would have to figure out like a creative way to do that, but I guess it's also possible. But I'm gonna say this is gonna be an Ultra release. They intentionally, if you look back throughout the entirety of 2024, I mean, they basically covered all of Dragon Ball GT except for the Super Saiyan 4s, right? We got Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta, but we didn't get Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta or Super Saiyan 4 Goku. Now, Super Saiyan 4 Goku obviously is way, way more iconic than Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta. We'll talk about Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta in a little bit, but Super Saiyan 4 Goku did not get touched at all this year. So I think the chances of him getting something in 2025 are very, very high. And if my money had to be put on an LF or an Ultra, I'd say an Ultra. I'm thinking a really good monthly celebration they could do to help GT. Even though GT did get a lot of help throughout 2024, the past like 4 months or something hasn't really touched the team that much. So they could give us like a 1 month celebration. Give us like a Zenkai for the Tag 4s. Give us an LF Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta. And then at the end of the month, give us an Ultra Super Saiyan 4 Goku. Boom. GT is like back on top, baby. That would be a great month for GT. And then we could leverage all the releases that dropped in 2024. So I really do think this guy has a super high chance of happening at some point this year as an Ultra character in 2025. Ultra Super Saiyan 4 Goku is going to be number 4 on the list. Let's move on to number 3. All right, number 3 is going to be Ultra Instinct Goku. So to me, this Legends Festival Ultra release was very obviously between this character and Beast Gohan, and then whoever it was not going to be was simply just going to release next year. So, I mean, it's very easy to say that at some point in 2025. Now, for this character in particular, this is like an anniversary or Legends Fest Ultra drop. So I'm saying with a very, very high degree of certainty that either in Anniversary as the Part 3 Ultra for Anniversary or as the Part 3 Ultra for Legends Fest, this guy will probably, most likely, be making an appearance. Very high chance this guy will be making an appearance. I guess it's possible they could end up changing their formula. They could be maybe start releasing ultras at the beginning of the celebrations, or maybe they release one at the beginning and one at the end, do multiple ultras in a celebration. I don't know. But to me, it is very obvious that this character will be coming out at some point during one of the major celebrations in 2025 as an ultra character, because the art of the character that you're seeing right now, the red Ultra Instinct Goku, the LF character, who came out for the 4th anniversary 2.5 years ago, this is still the only Ultra Instinct Goku, aka mastered, quote unquote mastered Ultra Instinct Goku that we have in the entire game. In the 6.5 years of the game's lifespan, this is the only one. So, we're getting to the point where it's like, all right, guys, you sort of gotta, release this character here this year. This is, I would say, the last Ultra Omega tier hype Ultra character that we don't have in the game yet. So, to me, it seems very, very obvious this guy's coming out in 2025 at some point. So, let me know what you think about this one, but I think most people are going to be on board with this happening at some point this year, or this year being 2025. Ultra Instinct Goku, number 3 on the list. Let's move on to number 2. Okay, so number 2 on the list is going to be Ultra Cell. I don't really have an explanation for this one. I just don't understand how we don't yet have an Ultra Cell. I don't know how it's possible. We have had summonable ultras in the game now for 3 years, and there still is not an Ultra Cell in the game. Second most iconic villain in Dragon Ball, probably behind Frieza. It's like the big villains are like Frieza, Z Broly, Rose, Cell, and Kid Buu. Those are the big ones. Kid Buu probably less so than the other 4. But like these are the big villains, and like the fact that we just don't have an Ultra Cell. I am so confident this guy's happening at some point in 20. Like it is so. I literally, if you're an Android's main, I would literally tell you to start saving for this guy coming out. That's how confident I am that he's dropping this year in 2025 at some point. There is no way we go a 12-month spree from now with no Ultra Cell. I'll be insane. Like, what the hell are they doing? They gotta drop an Ultra Cell. It's insane. But I am assuming most people would not disagree with this guy being on here, and especially being so high up on here. This is probably the slot I'm the most confident about besides number 1. So we'll put Ultra Cell at number 2 here. I'm going to jump into some honorable mentions, and then from there we'll go into number 1. But I made a quick honorable mentions team, and so there's going to be 6 honorable mentions. We'll quickly just rattle off those characters. I'll give a very short explanation, and then we'll move on to number 1. All right, so the first honorable mention on here is going to be Jiren. Now, would they do an Ultra Jiren? I think they would. Would they do one right now? I don't know if they would do one right now, but I think an LF at least for Jiren is probably warranted at this point, because the last Jiren we got was the transforming one from the 5th anniversary, who dropped next to Goku and Frieza. And then we also got this guy before that. So this guy came out, I think it was like the one you're seeing right now, the purple. I think this guy came out in February of 2022, I think, because he came out before UI Goku did for the 4th anniversary. So it's been a while since we got a premium Jiren, and Jiren has a lot of fight scenes. He has a lot of things they could take from for animations. So there's a lot they could do with Jiren, and I think especially if they're going to do an Ultra Instinct Goku, which seems super likely at some point this year, an Ultra UI Goku, which I talked about, he was number 3 on the list, then I think having a Jiren to go with him actually makes sense. Whether or not they want to do an Ultra version or just an LF version, it doesn't really matter, but I think Jiren is now in the range of getting a new character. Next, we're going to have Kefla. This is one that we also haven't gotten in a while. I think actually this might be the last Kefla we got. Was it the red one? It might be. Yeah, back during the 3rd anniversary. So Kefla has kind of been left out to dry for a little bit. So I think it's definitely possible we could see, probably it wouldn't be an Ultra Kefla, it'd probably be an LF Kefla. I can definitely see that being the case. Very highly likely for her at some point in this year. We had a bunch of Buu. Like this year was really truly not the year of GT. It was more even just the year of Buu Saga. Buuhan is one of the exceptions that we did not actually see drop during the Buu Saga frenzy of 2024. So I think it's possible we could see a new version of Buuhan. Probably an LF instead of an Ultra, because we don't even have any LF or Ultra Buhans at all. It's insane. 6.5 years in, like one of the most major villains. He has, like, you think Jiren has a lot of fight scenes? Buhan probably has twice the amount of animations they could take from. Think about how many attacks that Buhan does to Vegito when he's fighting Vegito. Like, they could literally make 5 LF Buhans and not run out of animation. So there's a lot they could choose from for him. Next, we have Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta. I briefly talked about him earlier on the list when we talked about Super Saiyan 4 Goku. I think an LF Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta and then an Ultra Super Saiyan 4 Goku in the same month would be a crazy, crazy exciting GT celebration. We already have basically everything else in GT represented in 2024, so the only things left to really do are the Super Saiyan 4s, and this is still the only Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta standalone character that we have in the game. The only other version we have is part of the Tag 4s, but that's a tag character. So some kind of standalone LF Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta would be really cool, I think. Next, we have Orange Piccolo. The reason why I picked the Reviving Power Awakening Piccolo is because we don't even have a standalone Orange Piccolo. What the hell's going on? I think if I had to pick one character from this list, from the honorable mentions list, that is the most likely to me to get a new character in 2025, I think it actually would be Orange Piccolo. This is the only version of the character. We now have 3 Beast Gohans, and we don't even have a standalone Orange Piccolo. Not one. So I could definitely see Orange Piccolo coming out at some point in 2025, whether they want to make it a standalone character or a tag. Probably it wouldn't do a tag because we don't want another Beast Gohan already. So just a standalone Orange Piccolo LF, probably, I would think. Probably not an Ultra for him. And then the last slot is going to be my wild card, I guess, Copium slot. And it would be a mixture of 22nd and 23rd World Tournament TN. I think maybe taking some animations from both those fights against Goku. So TN from the 22nd and 23rd World Tournaments. If they only wanted to do one of them, then probably 23rd. I think the 23rd World Tournament TN versus Goku fight was better than the 22nd one. But either one of those, I think, could work really well as an LF. Definitely for this one, it would not be an Ultra. It would definitely be an LF for TN. And I could definitely see this potentially playing into the Ultra Demon King Piccolo. They could do a DB month, and then we could get a LFTN for the middle of the month, and then an Ultra Demon King Piccolo at the end of the month. I know probably a lot of people will watch this and be like, okay, I would never summon on that, but Tien is a major character, man. In Dragon Ball, if you guys actually watched OG Dragon Ball, I know for you 11-year-olds out there, you probably haven't watched OG Dragon Ball, but if you have, you know what I'm talking about. Those Tien fights at the World Tournaments were pretty good. And Tien was a major character back then, and I think he's deserving of an LF. I do. That's one thing Dokkan actually hasn't done yet. They have not done a Dokkan Fest version of Tien from Dragon Ball. And I think he's worthy. So these are my honorable mentions. Let's go and jump into number 1. All right, so number 1 on the list is what I'm most confident in because it's literally a 100% chance of happening, and it is just going to be characters from Dragon Ball Daima. If you want me to be specific, it's, well, for what we know so far, I'm not going to go into spoilers here because I know people watching this, some people probably haven't watched the most recent episode because it's not dubbed yet. But I'll just say that there is something that Vegeta does that is 100% chance going to be added to the game this year in 2025 at some point. So, I mean, that alone is probably worthy of being number 1 on the list, but at some point we will see new forms for characters, new fusions, new villains. They're obviously building up for some huge confrontation and fight at the end of the show, the end of the series, and all of that stuff. Maybe not right away, will be in the game at some point, but there is a 100% chance that they're going to be continuing to add Dragon Ball Daima characters to the game throughout 2025. I would say probably even in early 2025, the first half of the year. So this is the most obvious pick for this list. I mean, it's just, we've never had an ongoing anime during Legends being live, right? Dragon Ball Super ended before Legends started. We did have movies, obviously. We had Broly drop during Legends, and they dropped Broly right away. They dropped a lot of movie collab banners. We had Superhero drop when Legends was up. We saw a lot of superhero stuff get added pretty quickly. And Daima, we'll just say Daima's being treated differently than Superhero was, and they already have a lot of the stuff ready to go. So I definitely expect to see a lot of Daima focused in the first half of 2025, and that is almost essentially just guaranteed. So number one on the list is going to be characters from Dragon Ball Daima. So just to recap the list here, starting at number 10, we have LF/Ultra Fusion Zamasu. Number 9, we have LF/Ultra Final Form or Metal Cooler. Number 8, we have LF/Ultra Final Form or Full Power Frieza, or both. Number 7, we have Synchro Gauge Super Gogeta. Number 6, we have, did I say number 6? Number 7, we have Synchro Gauge Super Gogeta. Number 6, we have Ultra Demon King Piccolo. Number 5, we have LF/Ultra DBS Broly. Number 4, we have Ultra Super Saiyan 4 Goku. Number 3, we have Ultra Instinct Goku, or UI Goku. Number 2, we have Ultra Cell. And the honorable mentions, we have some kind of Jiren. We have a LF Kefla, LF Buhan, an LF Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta, an LF Orange Piccolo, and an LF Tien from the 23rd or 22nd World Tournaments from Dragon Ball. And number 1, we have characters from Dragon Ball Daima. Let me know down below if there's any other characters that you'd want to see throughout 2025. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one.